We know that in most fans' minds, there's no such thing as a bad draft. But as analysts, we know really there's no such thing as a good draft. All we do is criticize these drafts, except for we did like the Colts and the Seahawks drafts. But bad is strong because we don't know how any of these careers are going to turn out. But we can question the process, and the process was highly questionable for a few of these teams. Connor, who do you think had the most questionable draft and questionable draft process this weekend?
Listen, I got to be fair here. It's tough when you don't have a pick until the third round, but the 49ers, I don't understand how it puts more pressure on you to get your picks right in the later rounds, especially when you're not picking in round one, you're not picking in round two. Moving up for Jair Brown in round three, the safety from Penn State, that's fine. He's a solid player. But when you look at taking a kicker with your next pick with the 99th overall selection, if that player is not Justin Tucker, a pretty high bar to clear, this is a brutal, brutal strategy. I thought they could have used some depth on the offensive line that was available there. There was plenty of pass rush help there. We know how much they rotate their rushers. I don't care. Take another wide receiver, tight end, whatever you want it to be. You didn't need to take the kicker in the top 100 of the NFL draft. And even after that, they just didn't get a lot of value, whether it was Cameron Latu, Robert Beal Jr. from Georgia. I don't really understand what the Niners were doing here, but missing on that pick, even if he's a good kicker, it could still be a miss when you look at what else you need to do. I don't get the strategy.
Yeah, that's like our criticism of these picks is not that they're not good players. It's like Moody's a really good kicker. Dude's got a leg. Like he can push for 60. Supposedly he's getting like over 60 in practice. I think he has like the Michigan all-time points record. He's got the single season points record. He's good. But like I think it's a two-pronged approach on why these strategies are bad. Positional value. Some positions just make more of an impact on a per play basis than others. Engaging the market. I think they probably could have gotten him like the fourth or fifth round.
But that's it, Kyle. Exactly.
Especially for a team, like you said, with so little draft capital, you have to maximize it. And if you're taking players far, far ahead of where the NFL thinks they're going to go, probably not maximizing your value.
Yeah, you guys talking about positional value. And when Connor said Justin Tucker, it actually made me think of something interesting where I feel like even if this draft class was all rookies and there was one veteran in it and it was kicker Justin Tucker, would even he go in the third round? Or I feel like teams would probably just keep taking upside shots and like edge rushers or skill players. Like you could argue he would be worthy of a second or third round pick. But I think even if like the best kicker of all time were in this player pool, a lot of teams just like, whatever, we're not going to take him in the third round. And it just seems almost like throwing a draft pick away. But we shall see. Kyle Shanahan, very, very large brain decision process occasionally. Kyle, so we know the 49ers were questionable. Who else was questionable this weekend?
The Lions. I don't think this is the most controversial one. And I love the Lions. They're such a fun team to watch last year. I think seeing them be successful last year, like with their new coaching staff, has been a real treat. And that's why I'm concerned that they're sort of blowing their shot to really get a stranglehold on the NFC North. The division is weak right now, and they could really put their foot on the throat of the division. Instead, they seem to be doing the luxury pick thing, right? And they seem to be misgauging the market in the sense of like Jahmyr Gibbs going 4 picks behind Bijan Robinson, a running back that pretty much universally is agreed to be somewhere in that Saquon Barkley range, maybe a little bit less. So to take Jahmyr Gibbs just a few picks behind him, Gibbs, my RB2 and not particularly close. But I think it was pretty commonly believed that he would end up going in the late first round. And I think for running back as talented and especially as good of a pass catcher he is, that's maybe a fair assessment of his value to a team in the NFL. I think that's probably fair. And then, okay, well, they have 2 first-round picks. Nail the other one, and we'll probably forget about the Gibbs pick when he's got like 1,600 yards from scrimmage. Take an inside linebacker. And one who I think is awesome, Jack Campbell, who can pretty much do anything, and he's just built like a beast. But again, I'm not sure the NFL was really considering taking him there outside of the lines, and I'm not sure what an interior linebacker like him can do in terms of boosting your wins, getting you into the playoffs, which they just narrowly missed last year. And then they finally start making the more positional value or market gauging picks on day 2 when they get Brian Branch, when they get Hendon Hooker, but make those smart value accruing decisions on the picks that are the most valuable, not the other way around.
Yeah, the Lions are fascinating to me because you look at the collective group of players and you smile and you're like, okay, I'll sign up for Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Brian Branch, Sam Laporta, Hendon Hooker. But you're right about the process. I'm trying to just flip Jack Campbell and Brian Branch in the order of the draft and say, listen, I thought Branch was a first-round caliber player, and I really like Jack Campbell. I thought he was a top 30 player in this draft. So the Lions are really odd because you look at the strategy of the draft, and it's a little puzzling. But if you think 5 years down the road from right now, you think Campbell, Branch, Laporta, and Gibbs, all 4 of them should be pretty good pros. So the Lions, they're going to deal with a lot of scrutiny, and it's going to be fascinating to see how it pays off for them.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and Rotoworld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, okay? Respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from Rotoworld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.